There comes a moment in every life where the walls seem to close in, where no amount of effort seems to change the situation. You cry out, you struggle, and yet the answer does not come in the way you expect. But I tell you, the battle is not yours, it is God's. Be still. The greatest shift does not happen through force, but through surrender. Not the surrender of defeat, but the surrender of faith. When you cease to wrestle with reality and instead rest in the knowing that God has already made a way, you open the floodgates for change. You have been conditioned to believe that movement equals progress, that struggle means effort, and effort means results. But the truth is, it is in stillness that the greatest transformations take place. The seed does not struggle to become the tree. It simply allows the process to unfold. God is turning your situation around, but He does not need your worry. He needs your trust. Your faith is the blueprint upon which reality is built. If you can close your eyes and see yourself already free, already victorious, already restored, then know this: it is already done. Do not beg, do not plead, do not chase after solutions as though you lack them. Instead, assume the feeling of already having received, and you will watch the outer world shift to match the inner conviction. There is no delay in divine timing, only the illusion of delay. Your blessing is not in the distant future, it exists now in the unseen. When you align yourself with this truth, you collapse the waiting time, and what seemed impossible becomes inevitable. I tell you again, be still, not passive but still, not hopeless but at peace. Rest in the certainty that God has already turned it around. The very situation that seemed like an obstacle will become the stepping stone to something greater. What you are experiencing right now is not the final chapter of your life. No matter how overwhelming, painful, or uncertain your situation may seem, it is not permanent. The conditions that surround you today are merely reflections of past thoughts, beliefs, and actions, but they do not define your future. You must understand that life is fluid, always changing, always unfolding. What appears to be an insurmountable obstacle is, in reality, a temporary state, one that is already in the process of shifting, even if you cannot yet see the evidence. The unseen forces of God are at work, rearranging circumstances, opening doors you never knew existed, and aligning events in ways that will astonish you when they come to pass. Think of the night sky just before dawn. In the deepest darkness, it may feel as though morning will never come. But does the darkness mean the sun has ceased to exist? Of course not. The sun is always there, always shining, always moving towards its appointed moment to break through. Your life is no different. Just because you cannot yet see the shift does not mean it is not happening. The nature of faith is to trust in what is unseen, to know that beyond your limited perception, divine forces are already in motion, creating a reality far greater than the one you currently perceive. It is easy to believe that circumstances have power over you, that what you see now is all there is. But I tell you, everything in your world is a reflection of past assumptions, past emotions, past states of mind. If you accept your current reality as unchangeable, you bind yourself to it. But if you dare to believe that change is not only possible but inevitable, you align yourself with the higher truth, that all things are working in your favor, even when it seems otherwise. Consider a seed buried in the soil. If someone unfamiliar with the process of growth looked at it, they might assume nothing is happening. Day after day, they see no movement, no visible sign of life. They might even believe the seed has been lost, swallowed by the earth, never to emerge. But what they cannot see is the hidden transformation taking place beneath the surface. Roots are forming, foundations are being laid, and in time what was once invisible will break through into the world for all to see. Your life is like that seed. You may feel buried under difficulties, under disappointments, under circumstances that seem unfair. But what if you are not buried, only planted? What if everything you are experiencing is not the end, but the preparation for something greater? What if the very challenges you face are working to strengthen you, to establish deeper roots, so that when you rise, you will stand taller and stronger than before? The unseen forces of God are always moving in ways beyond human comprehension. You may think that nothing is changing, but that is only because your eyes are trained on the external world. The real shift happens in the unseen, in the realm where faith operates. When you pray, when you affirm, when you stand in belief, you activate forces that transcend logic. You send out a command to the universe, a declaration that what is now shall not remain. And when you do this persistently, unwaveringly, the outer world has no choice but to comply. But here is the key. You must not allow temporary circumstances to dictate your faith. The mistake most people make is that they look for immediate proof, and when they do not see it, they give in to doubt. They waver, they assume nothing is happening, and in doing so, they prolong the very situation they wish to change. You cannot plant a seed and then dig it up every day to check if it has grown. You must trust the process. You must hold on even when everything around you suggests that nothing is working. Do not measure your progress by what you can see with your eyes. The greatest transformations begin in the unseen. Just because you are in a difficult season does not mean you will stay there. Just because doors have closed does not mean new ones will not open. Just because things have not yet worked out does not mean they never will. God does not abandon His creation. He does not leave you stranded in despair. His plans are greater than you can fathom, and He is orchestrating a way forward that will be revealed in perfect timing. If you could see behind the veil, if you could witness the intricate ways in which circumstances are aligning for your good, you would never doubt again. But you are not meant to see it all at once. You are meant to trust. You are meant to hold your faith steady, to rest in the assurance that what is coming is greater than what has been. So do not let your current situation deceive you. It is not the final word. It is not your destiny. It is only a temporary state, one that is already shifting beneath the surface. The forces of God are at work. Even now, unseen hands are moving in your favor. Stay in faith, and you will soon witness the evidence of what has been unfolding all along. There is a power that moves through all things, a force that orchestrates the unfolding of life in perfect order. It does not struggle, nor does it rush. It simply aligns everything according to divine law. When you understand this, you realize that the more you push, the more you resist, the further you place yourself from the very change you seek. The greatest transformations happen not through force, but through stillness. Stillness is not inactivity. It is not passivity or resignation. It is a state of profound trust, a knowing that what is meant for you cannot be lost, that what belongs to you will find you when you cease to chase it. But so often, people become trapped in the illusion that they must strive, struggle, and force circumstances to shift. They believe that if they do not worry, if they do not constantly act, nothing will change. This belief keeps them bound, exhausted, and disconnected from the very power that could effortlessly bring about the results they desire. To be still is to surrender, not to external conditions, but to the higher intelligence that governs all things. It is to step back and allow divine order to work in its own way and in its own time. This is not a surrender of weakness, but of wisdom. It is the understanding that true power is not in frantic effort, but in alignment. Imagine a river flowing effortlessly toward the ocean. It does not fight, nor does it resist. It moves with ease, allowing the natural current to guide it. Now imagine someone in that river, thrashing, struggling against the current, exhausting themselves trying to reach a destination that the river would have carried them to effortlessly had they only surrendered to its flow. This is how most people live their lives, constantly resisting, constantly struggling, believing that their effort alone is what makes things happen. But in truth, the more they fight, the further they move from the ease and grace that was always available to them. This is why stillness is the doorway to change. When you stop struggling, when you let go of the desperate need to control every detail, you create space for the divine to reorder your life in ways beyond your comprehension. You step into a state of trust, where solutions reveal themselves effortlessly, where the right people, opportunities, and circumstances align without force. But the mind rebels against stillness. It craves movement, action, something to do. It believes that being still means being powerless. This is the greatest deception of all. In reality, stillness is the highest form of power, for it aligns you with the greater intelligence that moves through all things. When you rest in faith, you cease to create resistance, and without resistance, change happens swiftly and naturally. Have you ever noticed that the things you struggle for the most seem to elude you? The more you chase, the more they slip from your grasp. But when you finally let go, when you stop needing it so desperately, it appears almost effortlessly. This is not coincidence. It is divine law in action. Whatever you try to force, you push further away. Whatever you surrender to, you allow to flow toward you. There is an unseen hand at work in your life, orchestrating everything in divine perfection. It does not require your anxiety, your doubt, or your struggle. It only requires your trust. The moment you stop forcing, you open the way for things to shift in your favor. The moment you let go of desperation, you step into a reality where what you seek comes naturally. Stillness does not mean you do nothing. It means you act from a place of knowing, not from a place of fear. It means you take inspired steps rather than frantic ones. It means you trust so deeply that even in moments of uncertainty, you do not waver. You remain centered, knowing that what is meant for you is already on its way. Everything you desire, everything you seek is already set in motion. The only thing that delays it is your own resistance, your doubt, your worry, your need to control. But the moment you become still, the moment you rest in faith, the barriers dissolve. The way becomes clear. The divine moves freely, unhindered by human fear. So, if you find yourself in a place of struggle, pause, be still, know that nothing is truly against you. Know that the very force that created the stars, that keeps the earth in perfect orbit, is guiding your life in the same way. And when you trust in this, when you surrender to this, change will come, not through effort, but through grace. Your imagination is the secret key to transforming your life. It is not a mere tool for daydreaming or idle fantasy. It is the creative force that shapes your reality. Everything that exists in your world was once imagined, whether consciously or unconsciously. The circumstances you experience are the result of the images and assumptions you have held in your mind. If you wish to change your life, you must first change what you see within. In moments of stillness, when the mind is free from external distractions, you have the opportunity to plant the seeds of your future. These seeds take root in the unseen realm before they manifest in the physical world. If you allow yourself to dwell on failure, on lack, on fear, you are unknowingly nurturing those very conditions. But if you deliberately imagine yourself already delivered, already free, already in possession of the life you desire, you set into motion a powerful force that begins reshaping your world to match your vision. There is no need to struggle, to force, or to figure out every detail of how things will unfold. That is not your role. Your task is simply to see yourself as the person you wish to be, to live in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, to embody the reality you desire so completely in your mind that it becomes more real to you than what your physical senses currently perceive. The way will then be made clear, and circumstances will begin shifting in ways you could never have orchestrated on your own. Many people make the mistake of using their imagination against themselves. They dwell upon their fears, replay past disappointments, and anticipate negative outcomes. In doing so, they unknowingly create more of the same. The mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It simply accepts whatever you impress upon it as truth. If you constantly see yourself struggling, if you constantly imagine worst-case scenarios, your world will reflect those beliefs. But if you turn your focus inward and persistently hold to the vision of your ideal self, everything will begin to change. Imagine a prisoner locked in a dark cell, believing there is no escape. But unknown to him, there is a key resting within his reach. He remains in bondage, not because freedom is impossible, but because he does not realize he already possesses the means to unlock the door. This is how most people live. They feel trapped by their circumstances, unaware that the key to their liberation has always been within them. That key is imagination. The moment you awaken to this truth and begin using your mind intentionally, you step into the role of the creator rather than the victim. To see yourself already delivered means to stop reacting to what appears to be and instead focus entirely on what is yet to come. It means to refuse to entertain doubt, to turn away from discouragement, and to persist in your vision no matter what external conditions suggest. The outer world is only a reflection of past assumptions. It has no power of its own. It will conform to whatever new reality you accept in your mind. The greatest shifts happen when you allow yourself to become so absorbed in your imagined reality that it feels completely natural. This is not wishful thinking. This is the foundation of all creation. The world moves in response to inner conviction. If you assume you are still bound, you remain bound. If you assume you are free, nothing can hold you back. This is why stillness is so powerful. In moments of deep quiet, when the distractions of the outer world fade, you have the opportunity to impress new ideas upon your subconscious mind. Close your eyes and see yourself already living the life you desire. Feel the emotions of that reality as if it were happening now. Experience the joy, the peace, the certainty. This is how true transformation occurs. Not through struggle, but through an unwavering inner vision. The mind, when left unchecked, will drift toward worry, toward fear, toward limitation. But the disciplined mind, the trained imagination, becomes the architect of miracles. The more you practice this, the more natural it will become. And soon, the world around you will begin shifting to reflect the new assumptions you have embraced. The way will be made clear not because you force it, but because you align yourself with it. When you see yourself as already victorious, opportunities appear. People are drawn to help you. Doors open effortlessly. These are not coincidences. They are the inevitable result of an inner shift. So use your imagination wisely. See yourself as already free. Feel the relief of answered prayers before they manifest. Dwell upon your vision with certainty, and the unseen forces of the divine will move on your behalf. What you hold in stillness, what you persist in believing, will become your reality. You are not powerless. You are not at the mercy of circumstances, nor are you dependent on something outside of yourself to change your life. The power you seek is already within you. It has always been there, waiting for you to recognize it, waiting for you to align with it. The moment you stop looking outward for salvation and turn inward to embrace the divine force already present within, everything begins to shift. The greatest deception in life is the belief that you must be rescued by something external, another person, an opportunity, a change in conditions. This belief keeps you trapped, always waiting, always hoping that something outside of you will come and make things right. But the truth is, nothing outside of you has power over your destiny. The only force that shapes your reality is the power already residing within you, the very presence of God working through you. This power is not something you must earn. It is not something you must struggle to acquire. It is already yours, as close to you as your own breath. The reason so many fail to experience it is that they do not believe in it. They have been conditioned to see themselves as weak, limited, and at the mercy of the world. But the moment you awaken to the truth that the divine presence within you is the very source of all transformation, you step into a new reality where struggle ceases and effortless creation begins. This is why waiting is an illusion. You are not waiting on God. God is waiting on you. The power to heal, to manifest, to transform your life is not something you must beg for. It is something you must align with. And alignment comes not through force, but through belief. When you accept that you are already one with divine power, when you embody this truth fully, you unlock the doors that have seemed closed for so long. Look around at the world. Everything you see was once an unseen thought, an idea held within the mind before it took form. The same is true for your own life. Whatever you consistently hold in your consciousness, whatever you truly accept as real, must eventually express itself in the physical world. This is not a matter of luck or chance. It is law. The divine presence within you responds to the assumptions you hold. If you assume yourself to be weak, life will reflect that weakness. But if you assume yourself to be empowered, life must also conform to that truth. Most people live in contradictions. They say they believe in divine power, but their actions, thoughts, and emotions reflect fear, doubt, and limitation. They pray for help while simultaneously doubting that help will come. They ask for change, but continue to see themselves as victims of circumstances. This inner conflict keeps them stuck, unable to fully receive what is already theirs. But the moment you remove the doubt, the moment you truly align with the truth that the power of God is alive within you, you become unstoppable. You do not need to force things to happen. You do not need to struggle or chase after what is already rightfully yours. What is required is stillness, certainty, and the willingness to see yourself as already possessing what you seek. The world around you may tell you otherwise. Circumstances may seem unchanged, but none of that matters. What you assume within yourself is what must be made manifest. So, if you desire healing, see yourself already whole. If you seek abundance, know that it is already within you. If you long for peace, embody it now. Do not wait for the world to change before you believe. Believe, and the world will change in response. The divine power within you is not limited by logic, by time, or by conditions. It moves according to faith, to inner conviction. When you stand firm in the knowing that all you seek is already yours, unseen forces begin arranging everything in your favor. This is why struggle is unnecessary. Struggle only exists when you believe you are separate from your desires, separate from the power that brings them into being. But when you know that you and the divine are one, there is no need to strive. There is only the quiet, unshakable assurance that everything is unfolding perfectly. The world has taught you to look outside for answers, to wait for circumstances to change before you believe. But now is the time to reverse that thinking. You are not waiting on anything. The power you need is already inside you. The transformation you seek is already available. All that is required is your alignment with this truth. Turn inward. Recognize that you are not separate from the divine, but an extension of it. Feel the power that has always been within you and step forward in certainty. The moment you do, the world will begin to reflect the truth you have embraced. What once seemed impossible will become inevitable. What once felt distant will move toward you effortlessly. For the power is already yours, waiting for you to claim it. Faith is the invisible bridge between what is and what can be. It is the unseen force that connects the reality you experience with the reality you desire. The moment you truly believe that what you seek is already accomplished, unseen forces begin to move, shifting circumstances, aligning people, and orchestrating events in perfect harmony to bring your vision into form. It does not matter if you can see the change yet. What matters is that you have already accepted it as real. The world teaches you to believe in what you can see, to trust only in what is tangible. But true creation does not work that way. Everything that exists first began in the unseen. Every building was once just an idea. Every innovation, every breakthrough, every moment of transformation was first conceived in the invisible realm before it took form in the physical world. The same is true for your desires. They are not mere wishes. They are glimpses of what is possible, waiting to be claimed through faith. Faith is not about hoping that something will happen. It is not about pleading or wishing. Faith is the certainty that it is already done. The moment you shift from hoping to knowing, you engage a power far greater than anything in the material world. You send out a call, and the universe must respond. This is not speculation, it is law. The world reflects what you assume to be true. When you assume lack, lack persists. When you assume abundance, abundance must follow. This is why faith is the most powerful force you can wield. It overrides appearances and commands reality to conform to your conviction. Doubt is what weakens the bridge between the seen and the unseen. When you entertain doubt, you interrupt the process. It is like planting a seed and then continuously digging it up to check if it is growing. The seed of faith must be planted and left undisturbed. You do not need to see it sprout immediately to know that it is working beneath the surface. Trust that the moment you believe, things are already shifting, even if you cannot yet perceive the movement. This is why patience is not about waiting, it is about knowing. When you place an order at a restaurant, you do not keep asking the waiter if your food is coming. You know that it is being prepared. The same principle applies to faith. When you declare that something is done in your life, when you truly believe it, you do not need to keep questioning or seeking reassurance. You rest in the certainty that it is unfolding perfectly. Many people struggle because they are trapped by appearances. They say they have faith, but when they do not see immediate evidence, they waver. They allow what is in front of them to dictate what they believe. But faith requires you to see beyond the present. It requires you to hold firm in the knowing that reality is being rearranged in ways you cannot yet see. When you stay steadfast in this belief, the physical world has no choice but to catch up. Imagine standing at the edge of a foggy bridge. You cannot see the other side, but you know the bridge is there. You step forward, trusting that each step will lead you to where you need to go. This is how faith operates. You do not need to see every detail. You only need to trust that the path exists. And as you move forward, the fog begins to clear, and what was once unseen becomes visible. The moment you say it is done and mean it, the wheels are set in motion. Everything necessary to bring your vision to life is activated. People you have never met, opportunities you could not have imagined, and circumstances beyond your control begin to shift in perfect alignment. But this only happens when you stop contradicting your own desires with doubt, fear, or impatience. The greatest breakthroughs happen when you hold faith unwaveringly. It is easy to believe when things are going well, but true faith is tested in moments of uncertainty, when nothing seems to be changing. When obstacles appear, that is when you must stand firm. The temptation to give up, to question, to fall back into old patterns is strong. But those who persist in faith always witness. The unseen become seen. Do not concern yourself with how it will happen. That is not your role. Your role is to believe, to hold the vision, and to trust that it is already done. The how is in the hands of the divine. The path will reveal itself as you walk it. Your job is not to struggle or force things into place, but to align with the knowing that all is already arranged in your favor. You do not need proof to believe. Your belief is the proof. Faith does not follow results, results follow faith. The physical world is slow to catch up to the spiritual reality you have created, but it will always catch up. Every delay, every seeming setback is just an illusion. The moment you hold faith as your reality, you cross the bridge between the seen and the unseen, and what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. The key to manifesting anything in life is not in grasping, chasing, or forcing, it is in letting go. Detachment is not about indifference, it is about trust. The more you try to control how and when things happen, the more you interfere with the natural unfolding of your desires. But the moment you release control, the process accelerates. What is meant for you comes effortlessly. When you remove resistance, when you no longer beg or plead, but simply know that it is already yours. Most people believe they need to constantly think about their desires, strategize, and take endless action to bring them into reality. They assume that if they do not stay focused on their goal every moment, it will slip away. But this thinking is rooted in fear. It comes from the belief that they are separate from what they desire, that they must earn it, struggle for it, or prove themselves worthy of it. In truth, nothing could be further from reality. When you desire something deeply, it means it already exists for you. It means you have already created it in the unseen realm. The only thing standing in the way is your own attachment, your insistence on how and when it must come. This attachment creates anxiety, doubt, and impatience, which in turn creates resistance. It is like standing in a river and trying to push the water to flow faster. The water is already moving, but your struggle disrupts its natural course. Detachment is not about giving up on your desires. It is about removing the unnecessary tension that slows the process down. Imagine planting a seed in the soil. If you dig it up every day to check whether it is growing, you interfere with its natural process. But if you trust that the seed is doing what it was designed to do, it will sprout at the right time. Your desires work the same way. Once you have set your intention, your only job is to let it be, to trust that what is meant for you is already unfolding. Many people mistake detachment for a lack of care. They think that if they stop worrying, they will stop attracting what they want. But the opposite is true. Worrying does not bring your desires closer. It pushes them away. Worry is a declaration of doubt. It is a statement to the universe that you do not fully trust the process. And when you operate from doubt, think about the moments in your life when something you wanted came effortlessly. It often happened when you were not thinking about it, when you were relaxed, when you were simply going about your life without desperation. That is because when you are detached, you are in a state of allowing. You are open to receiving without resistance. The energy of attachment is heavy, tense, and restrictive. It creates pressure, and pressure slows the flow of manifestation. But the energy of detachment is light, open, and trusting. It signals that you already know it is done. And when you hold that knowing, the universe responds with speed. Releasing attachment does not mean doing nothing. It means acting from a place of faith rather than fear. When you take action with desperation, you create more struggle. But when you take action with confidence, knowing that all is working in your favor, your steps are guided effortlessly. The right opportunities appear. The right people cross your path, and the right circumstances align in ways you could never have predicted. The fastest way to detach is to shift your focus. Instead of constantly checking for signs or worrying about when things will happen, immerse yourself in the present moment. Live as if your desire is already yours. Trust that it is coming, and then release the need to control the process. If you knew without a doubt that what you desire was on its way, how would you feel? How would you act? Would you still be anxious? Or would you move with ease, enjoying your life while trusting in the inevitable? That is the state of detachment. It is the deep knowing that all is working in your favor, even when you cannot yet see the results. Detachment is freedom. It frees you from the mental prison of neediness and lack. It allows you to enjoy the journey instead of obsessing over the destination. When you let go of control, you open yourself to something even greater than you imagined. You allow the divine to work without interference. Think of a bow and arrow. The tighter you grip the bow, the harder it is to aim and release. But when you loosen your grip just enough, the arrow flies straight to its target with precision. Your desires work the same way. Hold them lightly, trust in the process, and watch how effortlessly they come to you. The moment you release your desperate need for something to happen, it happens. The moment you stop chasing, what you seek finds you. The less you try to force, the faster things shift. So let go, trust, and allow. What is meant for you is already on its way. Life has a way of presenting challenges that seem insurmountable. Moments of struggle, loss, and uncertainty often leave you wondering why things are happening the way they are. You may find yourself questioning whether you are on the right path, whether your prayers are being heard, or if you have somehow been forgotten. But what if the very challenge you are facing is not a punishment, but a preparation? What if the delay you perceive is actually a divine setup, arranging circumstances for something greater than you can currently imagine? A test is not meant to break you, it is meant to reveal you. It is the bridge between where you are and where you are meant to be. The very situation that seems to be working against you is, in reality, working for you. It is shaping you, refining you, and preparing you for the testimony that will emerge from it. Every great transformation in life is preceded by a period of resistance. The seed must push through the dirt before it becomes a tree. The diamond must endure pressure before it shines. The butterfly must struggle out of the cocoon before it can fly. In the midst of hardship, it is easy to focus on the difficulty, to believe that things are falling apart. But what if they are actually falling into place? What if the loss, the delay, the rejection, or the closed door is not an end but a redirection? Often the very thing you think is holding you back is positioning you for something far greater. Think back to the times in your life when you faced obstacles that seemed impossible. At the time, they felt like setbacks. But looking back, you can see how they led you to something better, something you would never have reached without that challenge. That painful breakup led to the love of your life. That job loss forced you to pursue your true passion. That rejection redirected you to an opportunity that aligned with your purpose. The very thing you thought was your downfall turned out to be your breakthrough. The key to overcoming tests is perspective. If you see a challenge as an obstacle, it will feel like a burden. But if you see it as preparation, it becomes fuel. It becomes the very thing that strengthens you, expands you, and teaches you what you need to know for the next stage of your life. Faith is not tested in comfort, it is tested in uncertainty. When everything is going smoothly, there is no need to trust. But when you are faced with a trial, that is when your belief must be unwavering. The moment you decide to trust, despite what your circumstances suggest, is the moment things begin to shift. The universe responds to faith. The unseen forces that govern reality align in response to unwavering belief. Resistance is often a sign that you are on the verge of something great. The greatest breakthroughs often come just after the greatest struggles. Many people give up too soon, just before their blessing arrives. They mistake delay for denial, hardship for failure. But in truth, the test is only a transition. It is a process that is molding you into the person who can receive what is coming. If you were handed everything you desired without preparation, you would not be able to sustain it. A person who wins the lottery but has never learned financial discipline will lose it all. A person who receives success without learning resilience will crumble under pressure. The process, the struggle, and the lessons are not barriers, they are the foundation. They ensure that when your blessing arrives, you are ready to receive it fully. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this preparing me for?" Shift your mindset from frustration to expectation. Know that what feels like a breakdown is often a setup for a breakthrough. The story of every person who has achieved something great includes moments of struggle. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is persistence. Your test is setting you up for a testimony. The challenges you are facing now will one day be the very thing that inspires and uplifts others. What seems like resistance today will become the story of resilience you share tomorrow. One day you will look back on this moment and realize that it was not a delay, but divine alignment. It was not a hardship, but preparation. It was not a punishment, but a setup for something far greater than you ever imagined. So, stand firm in your faith. Keep moving forward even when the road is unclear. Trust that what is happening now is shaping you for what is to come. And when your testimony unfolds, you will see that every trial was worth it. Every challenge, every delay, and every hardship you face is not working against you. It is working for you. The test you are enduring is shaping you, refining you, and preparing you for something greater than you can imagine. What seems like a setback is actually a setup. The moment you choose to see your struggle as preparation rather than punishment, everything begins to shift. Your faith bridges the gap between what is seen and unseen, and your stillness allows divine forces to work on your behalf. Let go of worry. Detach from the outcome. Trust that what is meant for you will come effortlessly when you align with it. Your current reality is not permanent. The power is already within you. The unseen is rearranging itself in your favor. And soon, what once seemed like an impossible challenge will become the very testimony of your strength, resilience, and faith. Thank you for listening, and remember, your breakthrough is already in motion. Just be still, trust, and allow it to unfold.